Thank you so much for joining this lesson. We shall be discussing the Kjsea Special Edition. This is Mathematics Grade 9 in preparation for the Kjsea 2025. We go directly to the paper number 1. We are doing multiple choices, but you should know that the questions are very standard, and by following through the working, you will be good to go. So even though it's multiple choices, through the arrangement of work, we shall be able to know how to handle if the setting was in section B of the same. A factory produces 1250 bottles of juice every day. The bottles are packed in crates, each carrying 25 bottles. How many full crates are packed in 6 days? So in one day, we pack 1250 bottles. What about the bottles in 6 days? So in 6 days, we'll have 6 days times in each day, 1250. So how many bottles will be this? 6 by 1250. This gives us 7500 bottles. From there, we can now check that, we are told that there are some crates here, whereby a crate accommodates 25 bottles, meaning that the number of crates can be obtained by taking the bottles that we have, divided by the bottles in a crate, 25 of them. So when we divide this, we are getting 300 crates. Yeah, 300 crates. So now that we got the choices here, then A is the answer. Number 2, a school bought 3,600 exercise books. The books were distributed among students such that each student received 11 books. What is the least number of books that they needed to add so that everyone could receive 11 books? So we want every student in this school to receive 11 books. So what we need is the immediate multiple of 11 from 3600. So you discover that 3600 divided by 11, it's not divisible. 36, there must be a remainder, in other words, over 11. This will give us 327. Yeah, 327 point something. Let me check the point. And 3. Yeah. So when we divide into 11, when we divide into 11, then we shall have only 3 books remaining. If 3 books have remained, to make this one a multiple of 11, then we should make 3 also divisible by 11. So how can we make 3 divisible by 11? Because it's the remainder that cannot be divided into 11 books. Then we take 11 and we subtract the 3 that we're having. We get 8 more books. When we add 8 books now to this particular store, they will be divisible. Therefore, 8 books are required, so that now this number becomes a multiple of 11. Actually, this is the least number that can be added, because when you can add, there can be other numbers like 19, 30 and all that. Those are numbers which can still be divisible by 11, or those are numbers that can be added and this particular value becomes divisible, but we just wanted the least. You see now, D is becoming the option. They will become 3608 over 11. This is 328. So it could be divided by 328 students, each to get 11. Each to get 11. So that is it. At number 3, we have a question here whereby we are told that a football club bought 60 water bottles. If 12 bottles were faulty, what fraction of the bottles was in good condition? So the number which is in good condition should be the total minus 12. This gives us 48. So 48 books out of the total, 48 bottles out of the total. Which fraction is this? 48 over 60. This can simplify now to 4 out of 5, because by 12, we're getting 4, and by 12, we're getting 5. So 4 over 5 is the most simplified fraction of what was in good condition. Proceeding to number 4 now. Number 4, we are told that a farmer harvested some bags of maize. He sold 3 out of 8 of the bags and gave a quarter of the remainder to relatives. If the farmer remained with 45 bags, how many bags did he harvest? So let's talk about the first 3 out of 8. These ones were sold, meaning that the remainder is which fraction? 5 out of, 3 over 8 proportions have been sold, meaning that we remain with 5 over 8 proportions. This is the remainder. So we are talking of a quarter of 5 over 8, giving us 5 over 40, 5 over 32, sorry. Yeah, giving us 5 over 32. This is now the fraction which was given to relatives. This is the fraction that was given to relatives. That way. If that is what went to relatives, then we can check the fraction that remained. So far we have spent 3 over 8 selling, 5 over 32 for relatives. Therefore, we'll be having 3 over 8 plus 5 over 32, giving us 17 over 32. Now, if 17 proportions of 32 have already been used in selling and also giving to the relatives, then remaining, the final remainder can also be obtained. 17 out of 32 has been used. Therefore, we remain with only 15 proportions out of the 32. This is what remained. And we are told that this remainder now is equivalent to 45. So we can say 15 proportions that have remained equals to 45 bags. What about 32, which now becomes our total proportions? 32 times 45. This being divided by, 32. So 32 by 45 out of 15. This gives us exactly 96 bags. So that becomes the total harvest. 96 bags. So that's how we work out such a very simple question. Look at the update here. We'll be having the one-term ahead programming shifting grades online school. This will be conducted via what we call the Google Meet from the 20th of November to 12th of December via Google Meet. Very interactive forum whereby learners will be interacting with teachers, senior school and junior school, to ensure that we cover term 1 work of 2026. So by the time you'll be opening for 2026, you shall be one term ahead. Kindly make a date with us. Visit our programs. Just get the best from the best. You shall not regret. Number 5. We are told that a tailor cut 18 equal pieces of cloth from a cloth roll, 30.5 meters. If each piece was 1.52 meters long, how many meters of cloth were left? So the match from this piece which was cut, we are cutting 18 pieces and each is 1.52. So this, we can check the length which was cut into pieces. This is exactly 27.36. This is now the one which was cut, meaning that the amount that remained is the total, which was 30.5 minus 27.36. So 30.5 minus, we're getting 3.14. These are meters, making option B the right answer. Yeah, we're at number 6. A racing motorbike consumed 6 liters of petrol to cover 8 kilometers. What is the rate of fuel consumption of the motorbike? Remember, when we talk about fuel, and we have the kilometers being covered, we have the fuel being consumed, the only aspect of rate that can come through here is about the distance being covered. So we check per kilometer how much is being covered. 6 liters require 8 kilometers. So you divide the two, you get 3/4, which can also be written as 0.75. So 0.75 liters per kilometer. That is the rate of consumption of fuel by this particular motorbike. At number 7, a square plot of land has area 56.32. Use mathematical tables to determine the length of the plot. So in this case, you shall allow me apply the 4-figure tables. Actually, I'm going to, let me check whether we can post one 56.32. So let me check the 4-figure table. Let me check it. Yeah, the 4-figure table. The 4-figure table. You relax. I am sure there is a copy somewhere. Yeah. One is here. The squares of tables. We have squares here. Then after squares, we talk about square root. 56 point. We are finding the square root of 56.32. Yeah, 56.32. So we go directly to where there is 56.32. So 56 runs across here. That is the row that you're supposed to identify. 56.32. Three. Then at 2, we are adding value here. It's a 13. So we'll be having 7.5033. 7.533. And we add 1 3 at this point. So 7.5046. That is the right answer from the 4-figure tables. But when you look at the choices available, this answer has been rounded off. This answer has been rounded off to 4SF, making A the right option. But if it were not for the rounding off in the choices, actually, if it was a structured question, you are better when you leave it as the final answer. Remember, our consultation line is 07 our consultation line 07 04 15 3366. This is the consultation line that you can reach out through. It's also our functional M-Pesa number. So please feel free to utilize the same. In number 8, a diver recorded a depth of negative 42 meters below the sea level. Later, he rose 18 meters. What is his new depth? So from negative 42 meters by 18 units. So where are we going to be? To be negative 42 plus 18. Now, if it was negative 42, then we are going deeper, some other kilometers. It would have been addition. We add the two negatives. So now we are just adding 18. This gives us negative 24 meters. Yeah, so that's where we shall be. The end of it. Now at number 9. A kitchen tap pours 9 liters of water in 3 minutes when left running. At this steady rate, how much water will it pour out in 25 minutes? So we can have liters of water. We can have the minutes taken. 9 liters in 3 minutes. What about in 25 minutes? So we are affecting the number of liters in the ratio of minutes. For 3 minutes, we had 9 liters. For 25 minutes, we will have more liters. So it will be 25 out of 3, giving exactly 75 liters. But now the question is, how much water will it pour out? See that? How much water will it pour out? So 75, and that is liters. Yeah. I thought it's how much more. Remember when they say how much more, it will call for some subtraction. A shop attendant mixed 12 liters of juice with 8 liters of water. What is the ratio of juice to the total mixture? So in this case, the total mixture is also having some capacity because it's 12 liters of juice and 8 of water, giving us 20 liters generally. So we need now the ratio of juice, which is 12 liters, to the ratio of the total mixture, which is 20 liters, by 4, 3, and by 4, 5. Yeah, giving option B the most appropriate, or rather the only accurate answer. It's number 11. There is a very good question. A trader bought a phone for 15,000 Kenya shillings. He later sold it at a 12% profit. At what price did he sell the phone? We are being told to find a selling price. It's good for you to understand that when we have the percentage profit, we can find the profit exactly that was earned. So profit shall be, percentage profit is usually given us. Percentage profit is usually given us the profit itself over buying price times 100%. So if the trader bought it at 15, then it means there is a certain percentage, 12%. So 12% is computed this way that becomes the actual profit. So 12 times 15,000. This will give us 1800. This is now the profit that was realized. But now we need a selling price, whereby selling price of this particular font shall now be 15,000 plus 18,000. So when we add, we get 16,800. 16,800. Very good working. Yeah, that's it. At number 12, a farmer is preparing his land for planting. He applies 30 kilograms of fertilizer evenly on 1.5 acres of land to improve the soil's fertility. Later, he plans to cultivate a large piece of land measuring 5 acres and wants to use the fertilizer at the same rate per acre. How many kilograms of fertilizer will he require for the 5-acre piece of land? So we can have the acres of land, or simply land, then the money. When the land is 1.5 acres, we have the mass. We have 30 kilograms. What about when the land on which the fertilizer is going to be applied, 5 acres? So we are changing the value of 30 using the ratio of land size. For 1.3, 30. So for 5, we require more. Yeah, that one. This is exactly 100. You see? Exactly 100. So that's how that part is done. It's number 13. A carpenter cuts a wooden block into the shape of a cube. Each side of the cube measures 5 centimeters. He wants to construct the volume of he wants to know the volume of the cube so that he can calculate how much wood has been used. What is the volume of the cube? What is the volume of the cube? So we can just check the question into details. Each side measures 5 centimeters. He wants to know the volume of the cube so that he can calculate how much wood. Yeah, so in this case, we need to talk about a volume first, whereby it has been divided into 5. So 5 times 5 times 5 to give us volume of 5 power 3. This is going to be 125. Number 14, express 2 power 6, 2 power 3, 2 power 4 in standard form. So we're supposed to first write 2, then we apply some indices. 6 plus 3, 9, minus 4, 5. So we can talk about now 2 power 5, making A the best response in this particular case. At number 15, ladies and gentlemen, the population of a certain town is estimated to be 1.5 times 10 power 6. Express this number in ordinary form instead of standard form. How can it be in ordinary form? Therefore, when we write this one in ordinary form, it will be 1.5. You know, there are 6 zeros that I'm about to add. So you can talk of 1, tushikanishe hapo, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We check whether there is a such values. Yeah. That makes B our answer. 19. A student is learning about logarithms in math. He has to find the value of log 1,000 to base 10. What is the correct value? 1,000 to base 10. You know, we are supposed to know that logarithm is the base to which 10 has been raised. Therefore, the log of 1,000 is the same as the log, according to what we are having here. According to what we are having there, we can break down the 10 and have 10 and 10 power 3 that way. 10 and 10 power 3. You know, we can drop the power of 3 here and remain with the log 10 to base 10, making now 3 to be the right answer, because the log of 10 to base 10 should give you 1. Or the log of any number to the same base should give you 1. Remember, we can say that 1,000 equals to 2 power 3. Yeah, 2 power 3. So this is the log 10 power 3, sorry. 10 power 3. Then we're supposed to know that according to this, we usually say that this is not log of 3. This is log to base 10 of 2 power 3. According to this level, we usually say that logarithm is the number to which 10 has been raised. Logarithm is the number to which 10 has been raised, as you can see. During an algebra lesson, a student is asked to simplify the expression 3x plus 4 minus 2x minus 7. What is the simplest form of the expression? This particular expression now should be simplified 3x plus 4 minus 2x plus 14 that we add when opening brackets. So this is x and this is, this is x. Then this is 11, sorry. 11, making B the most appropriate. Yeah, that makes B the most appropriate. A shopkeeper sells 2 individual pens and adds an extra 5 shilling for packaging. The total cost comes to 13 shillings. How much does 1 biro cost? So 1 biro costs, a shopkeeper sells 2 identical pencils. 5 shillings per package. Then the total cost is what we are finding in number 18. So now we will say that it shall be, let me just compute it so well. For this one, it shall be, the total cost was 13. So 13 minus 5 for packaging, or rather for parceling this, it will give us 8 Kenya shillings. Then we divide by 2, which is giving us exactly 4. Yeah, that will. Solve the inequality. 5 minus 3x less than or equal to 11. So 5 equals to 14 that way. Yeah, equals to 14. We should organize this one very well. Remember, we are having 5 and negative 11, or we can have this negative 3x less than or equal to negative, okay, positive 6. Then we can divide by 3, which is negative -2. But now remember, we have divided by a negative, so x greater than or equal to -2. When you divide by a negative, the sign reverses. Therefore, A becomes the appropriate answer. 20. Matrix A, 2, 3, 1, 4. What is the element in the second row? First column. So we're supposed to know that these are rows. So it has 2 rows. Then we also have columns this way. So first row, no, second row is this one. First column now is 1. That is the first column. 21. An engineer is plotting a straight line or straight road on a map. The road passes through the points 2, 3, 6, 11, and the coordinate on the coordinate grid. Then, to design the slope of the road, he needs to calculate the gradient of the line joining the 2 points. What is the gradient of the line? So we have the coordinates there. We need change in y, 11 minus 3, out of change in x, 6 minus 3. So this is going to be 5/4. Just a minute. No, 8/4, sorry. I'm taking the difference. The difference between 11 and 8/4, yeah. This gives us 2 as the most appropriate answer. Yeah, most appropriate answer. 22. A contractor is designing a sloping ramp on a coordinate grid. The map passes through the points 0, 2, and traces with a gradient of 3. What is the equation of the ramp? So this we can even write direct and say, we know that in the equation y equals to mx plus c, m is usually the gradient, or rather the slope. This one is usually the y-intercept. Therefore, I will say y equals to, instead of m, gradient is 3. Instead of c, which is our y-intercept, we write 2. Because when an equation is this, it means when x is 0, y equals to 2. And therefore, we can have such equation. Number 22. No, 23, no. If 2x plus y equals to 10 and that y equals to 4, calculate the value of x. Therefore, 2x plus y equals to 10. Yeah, 2x plus y equals to 10. Meaning that we have 4 to substitute where there is x. So 2x plus y equals to 16. 2x equals to 12. X equals we should take it slow at that point. Y equals to 4. So 2x equals to 12. And the value of x, y is 4. I want to check whether there could be maybe something that we are not multiplying well. 2x plus y, value of y is 4. Then after that, we can talk about equals to 10. So that this subtraction will give us 6. And the value of x becomes 3. Yeah. The value of x becomes 3. This is equal to 24. Question on factorization. Factorize and simplify what you can see there. It's always good for you to stay guided, more so in this particular learning area. Look at the first pair of terms. We can extract easily 3 and remain with y plus We factor out x, whatever is common. Then the second one is a positive 2. We remain with y plus 3 that way. Then we divide by, we factor out, is it 2? Then, no, 3, sorry. We factor out 3. Then we remain with x plus 2. From the numerator, inside the brackets, we have y plus 3. Outside, x plus 2. Out of 3 into x plus 2 from the denominator. So this and this cancels, and we shall have y plus 3 over 3. At this point, remember it's y plus 3 over 3, everything like this. So every variable is divided by 3. Y by 3, we get a third one, and 3 by 3, we get 1. So when you divide that now, you remember and realize that your answer, which is very right, is answer A, 25. A bus left Nairobi at 8 a.m. and traveled 150 kilometers to Nakuru, arriving at 10 a.m. It then continued the journey to Eldoret, covering till further kilometers, further 180 kilometers in 3 hours. What was the average speed during the whole journey? For us to get average speed, we need total distance covered out of the total time taken. Total distance, we have 150 kilometers, we have 180 kilometers, 230, like that. Then we're also talking about total hours. How many hours are involved here? We have 3 for this, and we have from 8 to, so from 8 to 9, 10, 2 hours. 2 hours plus 3, 5 hours. So now for us to get the average speed, then we need, this is 5. So 230 divided by 5. I must be very careful in that particular addition. Did I even really add well? And why did I have multiplication here? This is addition. This is addition, and we get 330. 330 total distance, so we use 330 here. 330 over 5. This gives us 66. Yeah, the good things are multiple choices. So there we get that. Looking at number 26 now, right? A rectangular parcel of land, 60 meters, 55 meters. The owner of the parcel, he made a garden, leaving a path 1.5 meters wide around the garden. What is the area of the path? So look at this. We have a garden here. We have a garden here. Rectangular. Then now we have a so now there is a path here, leaving a path. So what is the area of this path? We know very well the outer length. The outer length is 55. But now, okay, the outer length 60. But something that we're supposed to note in this case, something to note with a lot of concern is that we are leaving a path 1 meters wide, 1 meters wide. Actually 1.5 meters wide. So 1.5 and the other 1.5 makes 3. We subtract 3 and the inner garden now measures 55. We also subtract 3 here and 3 at this point. We get 57. Therefore, how will we get area of the shaded part, which is the path? We shall need outer land, the original land, minus the part where flowers have been planted in this particular garden. So 57 multiplied by 52. Yeah, we work out that. I will start by 60 by 55, subtracting 57 by 52. This exactly gives us 396. 396. Then now at number 27, whereby we are told that a cylindrical container of height 2 meters has its curved surface of 8.8 meters, that should be squared. If the container has the same capacity as a ball in the shape of a hemisphere, determine the radius of the ball. Therefore, we are having a hemispherical ball and a cylindrical container equal in capacity, translating to equal in volume. Therefore, at this point, we can talk about, let's talk about the dimensions of this particular cylindrical container. We are given the curved surface. And how do we get curved surface? Area of a cylinder. It's given by perimeter of the circular path, which is 2 pi r multiplied by height. Therefore, 8.8 equals to 2 times 3.142 times a known radius times the height of 2. So how shall we get the value of r? To get the value of r, we take 8.8. This should be divided by 2 times 3.142 times 2, giving us exactly 0.7. So radius 0.7. If the radius is 0.7, then we can talk about now the volume, so that you may quit. Remember, volume is usually given by, in a cylinder, base area pi r squared, then times h. So now we are saying the volume of this cylindrical container, which will be 3.142 times radius 0.7, now squared, times the height of 2, should be the same as the volume of the ball. And you know, a ball is hemispherical in shape. Therefore, we shall talk about the volume as 2/3 pi r power 3. That's how we get the volume of an hemisphere. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, allow me apply math. Pi is appearing on both sides. 2 is also appearing on both sides. And 2 here. So we can talk about a third r power 3. 0.7 squared equals to a third r power 3. A third r power 3. How shall you remain with r power 3? Now we multiply 0.7 squared by 3. Because you have to multiply by 3 both sides. 1.47. R shall be, if r cubed equals to that, then we need the cube roots, giving us 1.137 meters. But now talking about the significant figures applied, r shall be 1.14. 1.14. Yeah, 1.14. So that is now the measurement that the examiner intended to get. Looking at number 28, a very interesting question. And as we continue, by the way, have you purchased your item for your airtime for any network from your M-Pesa? You just go to M-Pesa, Lipa na M-Pesa, pay bill number 737356, and the account number is the phone number that you're purchasing the airtime for. Could be Safaricom, Airtel, Telcom. Just enter the account number. From there, you can proceed to purchase the airtime that you need to enter the amount you complete the transaction, and the airtime shall be reflected instantly. So please promote these, and remember our program for the tuitions for all the levels, senior school, the junior school, just join us. Our number is on the board, 0704 15 33 66. Remember, our M-Pesa number is, let me attach it here. Sorry for that. 07 04 15 33 66. So this is now the M-Pesa number that you can utilize anytime you feel like. Number 28 now. The figure below shows a farm. A farmer fenced the plot using barbed wire. What's the total length of the wire used if he went around 3 times and left a gate 2 meters wide? So we got a gate somewhere 2 meters wide. Therefore, let's get perimeter first, the total length of this particular. So we have 64 for this. Then for this part, this length, together with this one, we will also have 64 for both of them. So 64 plus 64. Then we add, you see, this part and this part are giving us 52. Is it 52? Yeah. Then now on the lower side, it shall also be 52. So we can get the total length around this particular plot. 64 and 64, 52 and 52, giving us 232. 232 meters. That is one way, this particular plot. It's good now for you to know that leaving the gates 2 meters wide will give us now 230 meters. Now with 230, we'll be able now to talk about the 3 rounds. 230 times 3 rounds, giving us 690 meters. This makes part B to be the accurate answer. Yeah, that makes part B to be the accurate answer that way. 29. 2 towns, Kampala, 32 degrees in the east, and Accra, 0 degrees, that's along the prime meridian, lie along the same line of latitude. A passenger leaves Kampala at 10 a.m. local time and flies directly west to Accra. The total flight takes 5 hours. Determine the local arrival time in Accra. I will do this by first giving it a sketch. So along this particular latitude, we have Accra along prime meridian, then Kampala to the east that way. What's the angle difference? 0 degrees prime meridian all the way to that 2 in the east. So we usually say that 1 degree has 4 minutes time difference. 1 degree equals to 4 minutes time difference. What about the 32 degrees? It shall be 4 by 32, but now we have to divide by 60. This will be minutes. So we divide by 60 so that we get the time in hours. This gives 2 hours. Then 8 minutes. Yeah, 2 hours, 8 minutes. 2 hours, 8 minutes that way. So there is a time difference of 2 hours, 8 minutes for the 2 places because they are in different, these are places in different longitudes. It's also good for you to know that when we talk about time differences for places along the Earth's surface, places in the east are usually ahead in time. So the time it was 10 a.m. in Kampala. At Kampala, 10 a.m. At Accra, time was behind. So when it was, look at this. Let me check something here with our lot of tabs are opening, Yeah. Now, there is an argument that I was putting across, and it's my hope that you guys are going to get what we are talking about. We are talking about, let me check the time again. At Kampala being 10. If at Kampala is at 10 a.m. and Kampala is in the east, then to Accra, which is to the west, it's behind. So Accra is behind in time with reference to Kampala. In case we had been given time for Accra, then time for Kampala would have been ahead. Therefore, time difference being this one. So at Kampala being 10, at Kampala being 10 a.m., 10 a.m., this translates to 2 hours, 08 minutes behind for Accra. So Accra shall be 52 minutes. That was 10, get 9, 7. So we will have 7:52 a.m. the same day. 7:52 a.m. the same day. Therefore, with 7:52 a.m. the same day, we still again have to reason very quickly and say, now, apart from this time difference that you've catered for, there is time for flight now, which is 5 hours. So we shall say 7:52, then the flight now takes 5 hours. This becomes 11:52 a.m. the same day. 11:52 a.m. the same day. Number 30. At midnight, the temperature in a town was -3 degrees Celsius. Between midnight and 6 a.m., the temperature rose steadily at a rate of 2 degrees Celsius per hour. After 6 a.m., the temperature increased by another 5 degrees Celsius during the day. What was the daytime temperature at the end of these changes? What was the daytime temperature at the end of these changes? So we are starting from -3 degrees Celsius. Then we are adding some temperature here. 2 degrees Celsius per hour. 2 degrees, and we multiply by the hours between midnight and 6 a.m., which are 6 hours. From midnight to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those are 6 hours, basically. Then we add again the 5 hours. Actually, this is application of indices. Multiplication, addition of indices. This shall be -3. Then we add 12 and also 5. You see? Yeah, 12 and 5. So -3 plus 12 plus 5, I'm getting 14 positive degrees Celsius. Therefore, the temperature will be 14 degrees Celsius. Very simple. A very simple question that requires a good student, a good learner to understand what we mean by rates. At 31 now, a worker is employed on a construction site. He is paid 24,000 Kenya shillings for working 8 hours a day for 6 days. If he instead works 10 hours a day for 5 days, how much money will he earn? We shall talk about the money here, the hours here, the days here. 24,000 2400. For how many hours? 8, 6 days. Then how much money? For 5 days, 10 hours a day. So we are going to affect the amount of money using the ratio of hours and also the ratio of the days. Then we write our 2400 there and ask ourselves, for 8 hours, we have 2400. For 10 hours, we expect more. If we expect more, the bigger proportion should be the numerator. So 10 over 8 multiplied by, in the next case, we'll say for 6 days, we attract 2400. For 5 days, we shall attract less. To attract less, the smaller proportion should be the one on top like that. Then we compute 2400, this multiplied by 10, then by 6 again. Okay, by 5 over 8 by 6. This gives us exactly 2500. Kenya shillings, of course, making A the appropriate answer in that case. 32, number 32. A block of wood has a mass of 0.4 kilograms and a volume 80 cubic centimeters. Find its density. We should be able to know that density equals to mass divided by volume. If we know this, then we can check mass in the appropriate SI unit, like 400, because we multiply it by 1,000 to make it SI units. This now should be divided by 80. You know, when you divide this now, when you divide mass over volume, 0.4 multiplied by 1,000 gives us 400 over 80, giving us exactly 5. These are grams per cubic centimeter. Yeah, grams per cubic centimeter that way. 32 now. 32. No, 33. We are done with 32. Number 33 now. A county government reported that a new stadium project cost 86,479 Kenya shillings. For easier reporting, the accountant rounded the figure to the nearest thousand. What was the reported cost? Look at this. We are having 8, 6, 4, 7, 9. Nearest thousand. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. 6 is the digit in the thousands position. Then we ask ourselves, the previous digit, is it able to increase 6 or not? It's a 4, which is below 5, and hence cannot increase. Therefore, we shall talk about 86,000 being the right answer. So A is the right choice in that case. Let's get to number 34. Number 34, a carpenter is required to cut a wooden plank measuring 2.0 meters in length. However, due to a slight miscalculation, the plank he cuts measures 1.94 meters. Calculate the percentage error in the carpenter's measurement, correct to 2 decimal places. In this particular case, we shall talk about percentage error. Percentage error being given by error out of actual value multiplied by 100. That's how we get percentage error. So we need the error. The technical definition of what an error is actually the difference between actual values and estimated values. So 2.0, and we subtract 1.94, that will give us the error. Then this should be divided by the actual value times 100. So in this case, let's talk about 0.06. out of 2 times 100. So we divide by 2, then we multiply by 100. 3%. Now, getting back to the instructions, we are taught to 2 decimal places. So to 2 decimal places now, we just introduce decimal places and insert them as zeros. We insert them as zeros. This makes the appropriate choice. Number 35 now. A farmer used a frustum-shaped container to store water for his animals. The container has a top square of side 50 centimeters, a bottom square of side 25 centimeters, and a vertical height of 30 centimeters as shown. So you can see how the bucket is. This is a 30 centimeters, it's communicated like that. Calculate the capacity of the container in liters if the original pyramid had 60 centimeters height. So when given such a question, we are supposed to know that a frustum is gotten from a pyramid. So this pyramid now has measurements which have been provided. Look at this extension of mine. Look at this extension. Just look at this. Sorry for... Yeah, that way. So now, original pyramid was having a height. Original pyramid was having a height of 60. Meaning that we can get the height of the smaller pyramid which got slashed off, because we are supposed to cut off a certain pyramid to remain with the frustum. This now, the one which was cut off, you see, that is remaining. Original was 60, meaning that it's 30 that was cut away. 30 was slashed off. And with that understanding now, we can calculate the volume of this particular frustum and hence the capacity after conversion. Therefore, we say that a volume of a pyramid is usually given by a third base area times height. Being a square, we shall talk about side times side, then we multiply by height. Then we subtract a third for the smaller pyramid now, multiplied by small side times side again times small h. We can now proceed to directly apply this. A third multiplied by 50 times 50. That is now a third base area times height. The height is 60 originally, minus a third multiplied by side 25 for the smaller, 25, then times 30 for the one which was cut off. That is a 30. Sorry, I'm trying to manage the space at that point. Then now we multiply a third multiplied by 50, multiplied by 50, multiplied by 60. This gives us exactly 50,000 minus third multiplied by 25, 25 by 30, 6250. Excuse me. So we can now talk about 50,000 minus this value, giving us 43,750 cubic centimeters. Then now, after getting this one as volume, we can talk about capacity. We are now converting cubic centimeters to liters. We will say that 1 liter is equivalent to 1,000 cubic centimeters. What about when the cubic centimeters are 43,750? This shall be 43,750 times 1 out of 1,000. Now, this is going to be 43.75 liters. Yeah, 43.75 liters. That's 43.75 liters. This makes me the right option, okay? That makes me the right option. We proceed to number 36. I hope you still remember our consultation number for those who are joining us late. 04. Sorry. Let me check. Something is wrong with the screen, but that one we are fixing it. Don't worry, don't you worry. This one we are fixing. Please don't worry, please don't worry. This one we are fixing. As we continue arresting the issue, just remember our holiday programs here. We are getting back with the paper. One time ahead program, Google Meet, very interactive. Please invite your siblings in the lower grades. Invite them. We shall transform their academic stories. Your academic story shall be changed. Give us a date, please, between the 20th of November and 12th of December 2025. You are most welcome. Number 070415 3366. Please reach out. Let me get you back to the paper now. Yeah. Campus. Yes. Yes, yes. Great. We are back. So let's check number 36. Mary works as a sales agent in a company that sells electronics. She's paid a basic salary of 20,000 per month plus 12% commission on all sales she makes. In January, she sold goods worth 250,000 Kenya shillings. How much did Mary earn this particular month? First, we're going to get the commission that she's going to get. 12% of sales. So 12% of 250,000. This shall give us 30,000. This is now the commission that she obtained. But now the total earning for this particular month shall be the commission plus the basic salary that she gets per month. So we will have 50,000 as our salary this particular month. Yeah, 50,000. That's what Mary shall earn. You should be able to play along with the concept of commission. You know, sometimes people rely on commission and some other conditions. People rely purely on both commission and salaries. So it's good you read instructions carefully. Contracts are different. Now, a furniture offers a sofa set on hire purchase terms. The cash price is 42,000. Under hire purchase, a customer pays a deposit of 12,000 and then settles the balance in 15 equal monthly installments of 2400 Kenya shillings each. What is the extra amount paid above the cash price if the customer buys the sofa on hire purchase? In other words, what's the difference between the hire purchase terms and the cash price terms? So total hire purchase price, hire purchase cost shall be a basic, a deposit, sorry. We shall have a deposit, 12,000. Then we add, after this deposit now, 15 installments, each 2400. So we'll be having 12,000 plus 15 into 2400. This takes me directly to 48,000. 48,000 Kenya shillings. So now the difference, the extra amount paid, 48 minus 42. This is going to be 6,000. Exactly 6,000. Yeah, 6,000. Do we have 6,000 here? Yes. 6,000 is the 6,000 is the answer in that particular case. 38. A parent invests 50,000 Kenya shillings in a fixed deposit account at a bank that offers 10% compound interest per annum. He plans to leave the money untouched for 2 years so that he can use it to pay fees for his child. How much money will he have in the account at the end of the second year? In other words, this is compound interest and we need the amount accumulated after 2 years. So after 1 year, at a rate of 10% per annum, 50,000 will earn some interest. So 50,000 shall earn 10% of itself. 50% times 10% of itself, giving us 5,000 only. 5,000. Now, the new principle shall be the 50,000, because this is compound interest. The principal initially invested and the interest earned, they usually earn interest together now. 55,000, sorry. Yeah, I think this is 55,000. So now new principal is 55,000. So this is what shall earn interest for the second year. Times again the rate of 10%. You know, we should multiply by 1, which is not impactful in this case. This is a 5500 like that. Then now, what is in this particular account now? You can add it the way you want. It was already 55,000. Now we are adding 5500, the interest for the second year. So 55,000 plus 5500. Now this shall give us the amount in this particular account, which is 60,500 Kenya shillings. 60,500. Yeah, that way. Number 38. Now looking at 39. Look at number 39. The angles in a triangle are in the ratio 2:3:4. What is the size of the largest angle? Size of the largest angle. Now for the largest angle, we should be talking about the angle with the proportion 4. So how many proportions are these? This is 2 plus 3 plus 4, giving us 9. So the 9 proportions are now representing 180 angles within the triangle. What about 4? The number of proportions representing the bigger angle. 4 by 180 out of 9. This is going to exactly be 4 by 180 over 9, giving us 80. Yeah, that gives us 80. That one will give us 80. Very easy to come up with the right answers. Very easy, very easy. Let's check this particular question. Due to lack of some equipment here, I might just demonstrate how this one should be done. But anyway, we're going to see what happens in number 40. So we start by doing a triangle. A triangular park has vertices A, B, and C. Then a gardener wants to install a circular fountain inside the park so that it touches the 3 sides of the triangle. three sides of the triangle. Draw triangle ABC with sides AB 8 centimeter, BC 6, AC 7. So construction of triangles when the three sides have been given. So AB 8 centimeters, AB 8 centimeters. AB 8 centimeters. So we mark part A, then we measure 8 centimeters for us to get B. We measure 8 centimeters for us to get B. After that, we get a compass. We measure, let me look at it, 6 centimeters and stand at B. So we stand at B with 6 centimeters. We just make an arc. Sorry. Let me fix these. Yeah. Standing at B, using 6 centimeters, we make an arc like that. Then standing at A, standing at point A, now for AC, we use 7 centimeters. So standing at A, 7 centimeters like that. So when we join A to B, like that, this will be our C. So we have the triangles. Then now we proceed now to check. We are drawing a triangle. Then we also draw the circle that touches three sides. So for a circle to touch three sides, we bisect the angle between the sides. So we stand at A, we bisect the angle there. We produce the line so that the angle is bisected. Then we also use the B, make an arc like that. Standing there, we make arcs again. So you see, the two bisectors of the angles are meeting at some point. So when you stand and use that one as the center, you will be able to draw this particular circle, which touches all the sides. In case we were drawing a circle that touches the vertices, we would have used a bisection of the lines. Let me do this. Though the screen is really becoming unstable, but I will see. That's not what we expect. Yes. You use the center, which is the intersection. Then you do a circle smoothly to touch the sides that way. We're also told to measure the diameter of the circle. When you measure these, you shall get, of course, you know what diameter is. So you'll be getting 3.9 centimeters. At 41 now, a city plans a new footpath connecting to two street lights in a park. The first street light is at point A, 25, and the second is at point B, 69. On a map of the park, find the gradient of the path connecting the two street lights. So you're supposed to know that if you want to find gradient, you have to consider the change in y over change in x using the provided coordinates. Therefore, in this case now, we use the y coordinates to get gradient. We need change in y over change in x. So Change in y, we can consider one y, 9, minus the other y, 5, out of x minus the other x. This is 4 out of 4. And this will give us exactly 1. So this is the gradient. You can also consider, you can start with any coordinate. We would have picked 5 minus 9 out of 2 minus 6. Out of 2 minus 6. This is negative 4 over negative 4 and shall still simplify to positive 1. Yeah. A surveyor is using a map to mark a new walking trail in a park. The map uses a scale of 1 is to 2,000. On the map, the trail is represented by a line measuring 5 centimeters. What is the actual length of the trail? So according to this, you know, when scale is given as a ratio, it means these are same units. Therefore, 1 centimeter is representing 2,000 centimeters on the ground, meaning that 5 centimeters in this case now shall represent 2,000 by 5, then divided by 1. This will give us 10,000. Now, 10,000 centimeters, according to the choices here, which are in meters, we need to convert by dividing it by 100 to give us meters. This will be 100 meters. Yeah, 100 meters. So D is the right option when it comes to number 42. Let's check number 43 now. We are almost winding up with the paper. Remember our consultation line is just 07, 04, and 5, 33, 66. This is the line that you should use to consult. We shall work with you until you sit for your national exams. Remember to refer clients to our platform for more consultations. Looking at 43 now, the diagram below shows the positions of 2 towns drawn to scale 1 is to 50,000. Again, we are in a business of measuring scale, using scale to identify distances, you know. Which of the following statements is true? You know, true statements are many. True statements are very many. And therefore, we'll be able now to say, in just a minute, we'll be able to talk about this angle first, which is exactly 45 degrees. With 45 there, it also means that if I extend these, I'll be having a 45 at that point. So let's first of all analyze true statements, all of them true statements. This distance, when measured, you discover that this distance is equal to 3 kilometers. Then you use the scale. Of course, you're going to get, let me just tell you the exact distance from the measurement. Having my ruler here. So I measure the distance and it's 6 centimeters. Yeah, 6 centimeters. So 6 centimeters. Then you'll be asking yourself if 1 centimeter represent, this is not kilometers yet, but 0.5 kilometers on the ground, because 50,000 centimeters means 0.5 kilometers. What about 6 centimeters? This shall represent 6 times 0.5. Yeah, times 0.5, which is now 3 centimeters. Or 3 kilometers now, sorry. Yeah. So 6 centimeters on ground equals to 3 kilometers on the ground that way. So the distance is 3 kilometers. That one, there is no compromise. 3 kilometers. But now with the distance that way, you can advance this now and say that you need to analyze now the bearings very well. We can check the position of A with B as the reference and say that A is 3 kilometers on a bearing of from B. This is south, and when you measure 45 there, you are added to the west. So from south, 45 towards west. That is bearing. Again, A is 3 kilometers. Then this bearing can be stated as true bearing, which must be measured from the north and strictly in the strictly in the clockwise direction. So true bearing should be the angle now from the north all the way like that. So this is 180 plus 45, giving us 225 degrees from B that way. That is the identity of A with reference to B. What about B with reference to A? B is 3 kilometers, comma. What about the bearing? From the north, we measure 45 towards east from A. Again, B is 3 kilometers. This bearing now, to be stated as true bearing, we just consider the angle from the north clockwise direction, which is 45. But now it should be 3 digits. So we start with 0, 45 degrees. That's bearing from point A. Now with all these analysis, ladies and gentlemen, with all these analysis now, ladies and gentlemen, with all this analysis, we should be able to now get back to the choices and we see which one is true, which one is not. Which one is true? Which one is not? Now B is 3 kilometers. That is true. From A, on a bearing of 45. So if you state it as 45, then you are wrong. So we eliminate A. Part B says that A is 3 kilometers from B, very true, on a bearing of 45, 0, 45. A from B, 0, 45, not really. A from B is not 0, 45. A from B, the true bearing should be 225. Therefore, we eliminate B. Let's go to C. A is 3 kilometers, true, from B, on a bearing of south, 45 towards west. South, 45 towards west. The first option that we were discussing there. So this now becomes a true statement, and we can also proceed to check D. B is 3 kilometers from A, true, on a bearing of 225. B from A, not 225, it's 045. So C is the only right answer. Our M-Pesa number remains 07 04 15 33 66, which is also our main consultation line. Now, two similar triangles have their areas in the ratio 3:4. If the smaller is 27 square centimeters, what is the area of the larger? So this is the ratios of the areas. So we can say that we need, 3 proportions, which is the smaller proportion, as 27. What about 4, which is the bigger proportion? 4 times 27 over 3. This will be 9 by 4, which is 36 square centimeters. Yeah. Or otherwise, you would have said 3 over 4, which is the ratio, equals to 27 over the unknown. Cross multiplication will give us 3x equals to 4 by 27. And how will you remain with x? You divide through by 3, giving us 36. Yeah, giving us exactly 36. At number 45 now. A rectangular plot of land has vertices at points F to 1, G to -1, H for -1, and J for 1. The plot is to be enlarged. The plot is to be enlarged by a scale factor of 2 about the point -1, 1. So this is the scale factor, +2. This is the center for the enlargement. Then after that, what are we told? Which of the following are correct coordinates of the image? This is after now the enlargement. What are we going to get as the coordinates? It's good for us to enlarge using the appropriate way of enlarging, more so when the scale factor is positive. Yeah, more so when the scale factor is positive. So allow me present a graphical grid which is going to help us enlarge properly. This one is biased. It's not properly rectangular. Okay, it's rectangular, and a graphical grid is supposed to be smoothly square in shape. Therefore, let me get some graphical grid. Let me get some graphical grid. Some graphical grid. Some graphical grid, which is going to help us to enlarge smoothly. Let me use the word graphical. I have a grid somewhere, a serious one actually. Yeah, a graphical grid somewhere. I need it as PDF. I need this PDF. A graphical grid can be found at this position. Yeah. Let's check. This one is very good. This one shall really help us. So let's now draw it. Let's draw it now and see. Okay. I start with the x-axis. Okay, this is the y-axis. Then also the x-axis. The x-axis, which can be somewhere here. Like that. Can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have -1, -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, like that. Like that. With this, now we can start plotting the coordinates. We said the plot is having FGHJ. So F is coordinate 2, 1. Coordinate 2, 1 is here. That's F. G is 2, negative 1, which is here. G. Then H is 4, negative 1. So 4 and negative 1, that's H. And J is 4, 1. That's where J is. So we can now complete and have this particular, doing that. Like that. And have these. We can have the plot first. Let's have square plot. It's actually square, not rectangular, as they said. Yeah, this is a square plot. Like that. Then now we are supposed to enlarge it at a center. We enlarge this one at a center negative 1, 1. Center negative 1, 1. So this now becomes our center for the enlargement. That's now the center for the enlargement. How do we enlarge when the scale factor is positive 2? So we're supposed to connect every coordinate to the center. If it's G, we connect G to the center. We connect G to the center. And we enlarge. Yeah, and we enlarge, connect it to the center, then we prolong to the same side. So look at this. We connect to the center, then we elongate to the same side. The same side. I'm sorry. I hope this one must be understood. So we connect to the center, then we elongate. We just extend on the same side. Like that. Then it should be done twice because the scale factor is 2. Therefore, we say 1 will be at G, then an equal distance will be at this point. Therefore, the image of G shall be here, G prime. Then we proceed to enlarge H. We connect H to the center and we move to the opposite side. We move to the opposite side. So let me connect H to the center, H to the center. Then we move to the opposite side. So H to the center and we move in opposite side. So we connect it to the center and we move to opposite side. I'm sorry. Sorry for that zooming. It has happened accidentally. Okay, like that, yeah. Yeah, like that. Then we will say from the center to H, that's 1, and an equal distance on the same side. This is 2. Let me identify so smoothly without stress. This is 2. So this now becomes our H prime. So remember, when enlargement scale factor is positive, object and image are usually on the same side. Yeah, object and image are usually on the same side. Check F and J, which are on the same side. So we connect them to the center. Then we move to opposite side. Yeah. Then we will say we are moving 2 times. So from the center to where F is, and an equal distance for us to get the image. So F shall be there. Then we do the same for J. And we say from center to where J is, that's 1. And along the same line, an equal distance to the opposite side. And like that. So now we can draw the enlarged sphere. Enlarged sphere now shall be here by connecting the vertices of enlargement. Vertices after enlargement. Yeah. So this is what we are having now. We have the enlarged. Therefore, we'll talk about now the coordinates, whereby if it's f prime, we shall have it as fg. So f, g, h, j. So let me list them. F prime, let me come up with it. F prime, the coordinate is a 5, -3, as you can see. Then if it's g prime, 5, 5, -3. Actually, that is the one which is 5, -3. Look at F. Well, look at F, which is here. F is 5 positive, 5 positive 1. Read it well, 5 positive 1. Then H, which is at this point, this is at 9 and -3. Then when we talk about J, which is here, this is going to be 9 and positive 1. Yeah, 9 positive 1. So now we expect now one of the choices to be the most appropriate. This is going to be D. That way. So that is the most appropriate. It's number 46, right? Now in number 46, we should be able to talk about a straight line running between 2 points in a path. P, -24, Q, 2, -4. Then another straight line L2 that is perpendicular to PQ passes through the origin. Determine the equation of L2. Let's first get the equation for, okay, not equation, but gradient for PQ. So gradient, we can call it the first gradient, gradient 1, sorry. We need -4, change in Y, -4, then out of change in X, 2 minus -2. -4 minus 4, 2 minus -2. This is -8 out of 4, giving us -2. So if gradient 1 is -2, what will be gradient 2? For perpendicular lines, first gradient times the second gradient should be -1. Therefore, first gradient, first gradient times a known gradient should give us -1, meaning that a known gradient should be -1 over -2, giving us half. So the second gradient is half. Let's express this gradient for us to come up with the equation. So half equals to change in Y, Y minus 0. Remember the gradient with the line with a gradient of half is passing through origin. So we use origin and another coordinate xy. Y minus 0, x also minus 0. So this shall be half y over x. Can we cross multiply? Yes. 2y equals to x. Can we remain with y? Yes. Half x. So y equals to half x. Appropriate answer being C. C is the appropriate answer. Look at 47. A die is rolled once. What is the probability of obtaining 1 or a prime number? So, okay, rolling it once. One, we should understand that this die is not biased. If it's not biased, then it means that we have equal chances of getting a face labeled either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Therefore, out of all those numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, that way, what is the probability of getting 1 or a prime number? So we need probability 1 or probability prime numbers. How many prime numbers do we have? Probability, a prime number like 2. That's a prime number. Or probability, another prime number like 3. Or probability, another prime number like 5. Those are prime numbers. Numbers which can only be factored out into 1 and itself. So probability of getting 1 is 1/6 because we have only one out of 6 possible outcomes. Or means addition in probability. Getting 2 is also 1/6. Getting 3 also 1/6. Then 1/6. This is 4 out of 6, which can simplify to 2/3. Yeah, this can simplify to 2/3, making the right choice. 48. This one is a question from data handling, which has really been simplified for this particular case. Really been simplified. So at this point now, we say that the table below shows the marks out of 60 scored by some students in the math test. So we have the classes for the marks as displayed there, the frequencies, which is the number of students per particular class. Then the midpoint of each class. Midpoint is gotten by limits added divided by 2. 0 plus 9, and we divide by 2, 4.5. Then to get the product fx, we have each midpoint multiplied by the frequency. For example, there, we get 9. It's good for you to know that the idea of getting a midpoint is to ensure that we get a value that will represent the number of items in a particular class. For instance, the people scoring 10 to 19 are 5, but we don't know what exactly they have. What we are sure about is that their marks are in between 10 and 19. With that idea now, we can get the midpoint to represent all of them. So to get the total marks scored by these people in this particular class, we assume all of them scored the midpoint value, 14.5. We multiply by 9, and that gives us 72.5. Then the next midpoint times the point, a midpoint times the frequency, like that. These are total marks now, fx total marks. The next shall be, we have a known 12 times 34.5. That will give us 414. Then 9 by 44.5, that will give us 400.5. Like that. So for us to determine mean, now we need all the marks. So summation of f of x, summation of f of x. Let me check that. I'm bringing it. You don't worry. You relax. Summation of f of x out of summation of f. So we add up now all the summations of f of x. We are talking about 9 plus 72.5 plus 196 plus 414 plus 400.5 plus 218. That gives us exactly 1310. This now should be divided by the total frequency, which is the number of students who sat for these. So to calculate them, we can add them directly. 2 plus 5, we get 7. Plus 8, we get 15. 27. 36. 40. So we add 40 of them. When we divide these, we shall exactly get that 2.75. Yeah. 32.75. Very simple. Number 49 now. A very good question on polygons. Look at this. The figure below shows an irregular polygon. You can see it's irregular. The angles are not equal. Determine the value of x. So we are supposed to know one thing, that every interior plus exterior should give us 180. You can see they're even on a straight line. Exterior and interior. If they should give us 180 and one of the values is x, then the other one is 180 minus x. 180 minus x, like that. Yeah, 180 minus x. So with all this now, we can say the sum of these angles, we can add them manually. 180 minus x plus the next one, 8.5x, plus the next one, 50, plus 140, plus 145, plus 55. All this should give us the ideal sum of all the angles, whereby we say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces. So to get the sum of interior angles, we usually use, summation of interior angles, 180 n minus 2. So now we are talking of 180 into n, 6. N is the number of sides, minus 2. So now we can group terms and we start adding. When you start adding up, you'll be able to get 7.5x. I'm grouping terms, negative x and positive 8.5. I'll be getting 7.5x. And when we add up everything else, 570. This is equal to 720. Grouping terms will leave us with 7.5x here. And on this side, 150. So how do I remain with x? I divide by 7.5, giving me exactly 20. So that becomes the right choice. Alternatively, some of these questions, depending on how open-minded you are, we can work out with a different approach. How? We can just say that summation of all exterior angles, regardless of the type of polygon, should give us 360. And with this understanding now, with this particular understanding, then we will say this, that for every interior angle that we see, there is a corresponding exterior. In the first case, the first exterior angle is x. When we add the next exterior angle, which can be produced here, this one now shall be 180 minus 8.5x. The next one shall be with 50. The other one here shall be automatically 130. So we are adding 130. Then we add the next. When we have 140, then we shall have 40 at that point. Then from that point, we shall have 145, whereby the corresponding exterior shall be what? That should be 35, right? I hope I've subtracted well. 180 minus 145. We get that 5, yeah, very true. Then from there, we can talk about the last one. If in the interior we have 55, then exteriorly we shall have 125. So plus 125. This is now all equal to 360. Then we start grouping terms together. Yeah, we start grouping terms together. Let me compute it slowly. I'm having x and negative 8.5, giving us negative 7.5x. This now should be added or subtracted to what? This one should be added or subtracted. We have 180, plus 130, plus 40, plus 35, plus 125. That gives me 510 equals to 360. How do I remain with negative 7.5x at this point? 360 minus 510, giving me negative 150. So the value of x shall be, when I divide through by negative, it shall become positive, and it will also be 20. So this answer that we got using interior angles has been confirmed using the exterior angles. Number 50, which is our now last question. To polish your skills, please reach out through 0704153366. In that particular school, where you are studying from, please refer learners to our programs here, whereby we are planning a very serious program for 5 complete weeks via Google Meet. You just register and we meet online. We discuss mathematics, we discuss integrated science, we discuss everything. You meet teachers of every learning area and you shall get the best from the best people in the country. So please reach out for the best. Reach out for the best. Our number is already stated. Let's look at a graph here. The graph below shows a motorist's journey between 2 towns. So we can see how the journey is progressing when the distance was 0 all the way until distance was 120. Then distance stayed as 120, meaning that there was some rest here. Then now this looks like journey back. We have this distance covered up to that point. Then again, distance remained 60 for some time, meaning that there was some rest at that point. Then the journey continued again. The journey continued again. So what distance has been covered? Total distance. You know, we're determining the motorist's average speed for the whole journey. So for the whole journey, let's talk about total distance, which will be given us 120 and also 120 in the journey back. This is 240 kilometers. That is the total distance. What about the total time taken, including all the stoppages? Total time. Yeah. Total time taken. Now, from 6 all the way to 10 a.m., there was journey. So we talk about total time, whether this motorist was resting or continuing with motion. We just check the total time taken. Therefore, from 6 to 10, it should be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. 4 hours. So average, average speed shall be 240 over 4, giving us 60 kilometers per hour, making the appropriate choice. Thank you so much for reaching out. Remember to subscribe. Remember to share the link with your friends. Invite people so that you may continue preparing for the national exams together. To get your airtime, please visit our site. Just go to your M-Pesa menu, Lipa na M-Pesa. The pay bill number 737356. Then the account number is the phone number that you're purchasing the airtime for. Could be Safaricom, Airtel, Telcom. It could even be the number of a friend. Then you proceed to enter the amount that you'd like to spend. You complete the transaction. The airtime shall be reflected instantly. Thank you so much. See you another time.